Hi everybody, I'm Graham McCowen. So recently I've been experimenting with this. This is the Pixapro SAP projection attachment. To give you an idea of what this attachment does, here is a shoot I did with Charlie in London. I decided to use only one light, which is this setup here, the City 600 with this attachment. So what this does is very simple. It creates shapes of light. The shapes that are projected through this attachment are created by these laser cut metal gobos that you can buy from Pixapro in different sets. In order to create the light effect I did on this image here, I used Pixapro's framing shutter blades in order to create the strip and to create the triangle. From the shoot, you can see I didn't use a constant light, which actually makes this attachment a lot easier as you can place the light exactly where you want it. Instead, I used the City 600 because I was outdoor and needed to be brighter than constant light. This did make the shoot harder as the lens on the front of this is a 2.8 aperture, which does dull down the light both from strobes and constant light, and the model lamp was barely visible most of the time. Talking about the 2.8 aperture lens, if you feel that that's a little too dark for you, Pixapro does sell a snoot spotlight adapter that has an EF mount, which means you can put faster Canon lenses on the front. Here is some footage from a shoot that I did with the Family Podcast guys where we used constant light in studio. You can see how much easier it is to control the light and place it exactly where you need to. So I thought I would show you how I created my own gobo. Here is the final image that I took with it. The look I was going for was an industrial wall fan with the golden hour sun shining through it. Firstly, I bought a thin aluminium steel plate from eBay. I drew out the shape that I wanted onto this metal plate, and then I cut it out with a scalpel blade, which is actually harder than it sounds. I sanded down the edges as best as I could using a rotary tool. I then combined it with the Venetian blind laser cut gobo that you can buy from Pixapro in order to give it the look of wind directional blades. I then added some gels that I cut out myself for that golden hour look. The one thing to keep in mind if you make a gobo like this is that you're not going to be able to feature it in sharp focus. This is why you really need it to be laser cut in order to get sharp, defined, smooth edges. You can see my one is quite rugged after being cut out by a scalpel blade. The gobo I created was always to be used blurred because that's a very realistic look of the sun. So to chat about my own experiences after shooting with this, yes, it was harder to shoot this with a strobe as you can't see the model lamp very well, so placing the light exactly where you need it to be was harder, but I love the creativity that comes from this. Okay, so that's pretty much it, guys. I really loved using this attachment. Being able to shape light the way that it does brought an extra level to my photography, brought on new ideas for my photography, and it was super fun to use.